Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
All right, we have 5 major stories for you today. We'll start with a bombshell accusation that a top Chinese AI startup is secretly aiding its military by illegally obtaining US chips. Then we'll shift gears to Amazon's high-stakes race against the clock to launch its own satellite internet constellation and challenge Starlink. After that, we'll look at Tesla's new Robotaxi service, a tiny 10-car trial that just added $100 billion to its valuation. From there, we'll dive into how China used massive government subsidies to become the undisputed world leader in affordable electric vehicles. And we'll wrap up with a tiny startup's audacious claim of a superconducting chip that could upend the entire industry. A senior US official has just dropped a serious bombshell, accusing one of China's hottest AI startups, DeepSeek, of directly aiding China's military and intelligence operations. The claim is that DeepSeek, a company that shocked the tech world with AI models, supposedly as good as America's best, but at a fraction of the cost, has a dark side. The US government now alleges the company is actively working to evade American sanctions, using shell companies in Southeast Asia to illegally acquire the one thing it's not supposed to have: large volumes of high-end, restricted US chips from NVIDIA. What's more, the allegations don't just stop at hardware. DeepSeek is also accused of sharing user information and statistics directly with Beijing's surveillance apparatus, and the implications of this stretch all the way to services you might be using right now, as DeepSeek's models are currently offered to customers through the world's biggest cloud providers, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. The evidence presented is startling. The company is reportedly referenced more than 150 times in procurement records for China's People's Liberation Army, and has allegedly provided tech services to PLA research institutions. This leaves us with a critical question. Is DeepSeek an innovative disruptor, or is its meteoric rise built on a foundation of illegally obtained American technology? While US officials have not yet placed the company on any trade blacklists, the investigation is escalating. The core conflict is no longer just about market share. It's about whether a celebrated AI firm is secretly a tool for a global superpower's military complex. Speaking of global competition, another battle is heating up, not in AI, but in low Earth orbit. A company with just 54 satellites is picking a fight with a rival that has 8,000. Amazon just sent its second batch of Kuiper internet satellites into space, escalating a high-stakes battle with Elon Musk's Starlink. While this latest launch brings Amazon's total to 54 satellites, that number looks microscopic next to Starlink's dominant fleet of 8,000. However, that tiny number is just the opening move in Amazon's master plan for a massive constellation of 3,236 satellites. To make things even more challenging, they're on a strict deadline from the Federal Communications Commission. Amazon must launch half of its entire constellation, that's over 1,600 satellites, by July 2026. It's a logistical challenge of astronomical proportions. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. To build its fleet and challenge SpaceX, Amazon has booked over 80 future launches with multiple providers. And in an ironic twist, one of those providers is its direct competitor, SpaceX. So to beat Starlink, Amazon may actually have to pay Elon Musk to launch its satellites. After all, this isn't just about faster internet. It's a strategic war being waged in low Earth orbit. The board is set, the pieces are moving, and the clock is ticking. The real uncertainty is whether Amazon can possibly close an 8,000 satellite gap, or if this is a race, it's already lost. From one high-stakes gamble in space to another one right here on Earth, let's talk about Tesla. The company's stock just surged 10%, adding nearly $100 billion to its market value in a single day. The reason? Tesla just flipped the switch on its long-promised Robotaxi service in Austin, Texas. For a flat fee of just $4.20, the company is now offering paying passengers rides without a human driver. One analyst who took multiple rides called the experience masterful, describing how the Robotaxi navigated a narrow road with oncoming traffic and people opening car doors, handling it all with patience and safety. But let's put this into perspective. This massive market reaction is based on a tiny, tightly controlled trial of about 10 vehicles, and those cars still have human safety monitors riding in the front seat. The entire gambit hangs on Tesla's controversial self-driving technology, which relies almost entirely on cameras and AI. This is a stark contrast to rivals like Google-backed Waymo, which use redundant sensors like LiDAR. Experts have raised serious concerns, questioning if cameras alone can handle heavy rain or glaring sun, and a new Texas law requiring state permits for autonomous vehicles is looming. You know, this move isn't just about a new service. Tesla is making a dramatic pivot away from mass market EV dominance as Chinese competition heats up and demand for its aging models slows. The company is now betting its future on self-driving technology. And that bet is fueling a valuation that almost defies logic. Tesla is trading at nearly 149 times its forward earnings. For comparison, auto rival Ford trades at 9 and tech giant Microsoft is at 31. It all leaves investors to wonder, can a 10-car experiment truly justify that price? We were just talking about Tesla's pivot away from mass market EVs, and a big reason for that is the very subject of our next story, China's absolute dominance in the affordable electric vehicle market. Let's start with a single statistic that might just change your entire perspective on this. Almost half of all cars sold in China last year were electric. Not luxury toys for the rich, but mainstream vehicles for everyday people. One driver put it bluntly, "I drive an electric vehicle because I am poor." While the West sees EVs as premium purchases, China has flipped the script. The story of this transformation from a nation of bicycles to the world's EV powerhouse wasn't an accident. It was engineered with a staggering amount of money. An estimated $231 billion in government subsidies from 2009 to 2023. The plan was simple. If you can't beat the West on gasoline engines, change the game entirely. The result? China's BYD, a company that started out making smartphone batteries, has now overtaken Tesla as the world's top EV seller. And it's not just about volume. For around $20,000, Chinese consumers can buy an EV with self-driving capability, voice activation, and even lie-flat beds. This dominance is so complete that one analyst says, when it comes to EVs, China is 10 years ahead and 10 times better than any other country. Another expert adds, if you want to manufacture a battery to put into an electric car today, all roads go through China. Now, Western leaders are sounding the alarm, calling Chinese EVs computers on wheels that could be controlled from Beijing. But a BYD executive fired back with an incendiary statement, dismissing the fears by saying anyone can claim anything if they lose the game, but so what? This is a new era, and the debate is shifting from if the world will go electric to who will be building the cars when it does. China's rise in EVs was all about changing the game from gasoline to batteries. Well, our final story is about another potential game changer, this time in the world of AI, and it's all about power. A tiny startup just made a claim that could either be a massive bluff or an industry-shattering bombshell. An AI chip that's 25 times more powerful per watt than the best chips on the market today. The company is Snowcap Compute, and if they're right, they could upend the entire industry. To understand why that number is so critical, just look at the current trajectory. A single forthcoming NVIDIA AI server is expected to consume so much power that running it for just 1 hour will use 2/3 of the electricity an average US house consumes in an entire month. The AI boom is hitting a power wall. What really gives this claim weight, however, is who's backing it. The former CEO of Intel, Pat Gelsinger, is throwing his weight behind this challenger. He just joined Snowcap's board, declaring that a lot of data centers today are just being limited by power availability. He's not just observing a problem, he's betting on a solution. So the thing is, Snowcap's secret weapon is a technology that sounds like science fiction, one that's been theorized for decades but was always considered impractical. Superconducting chips. The major catch? To work, these chips have to be kept cryogenically cold, a process that itself uses a ton of energy for decades that made them a non-starter. But in a world desperate for more computing power, the math has changed. Snowcap's CEO says that even after accounting for the energy used in cooling, their performance is off the charts. His philosophy is blunt. Power, efficiency is nice, but performance sells. They're not just trying to be more efficient, they're aiming to be overwhelmingly more powerful. With former execs from NVIDIA and Google and backing from an Intel chief, the venture raises a tantalizing possibility. Is this the beginning of the end for the current AI hardware empire?
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.